This video is going to be about relationships. The capacity that you love yourself is the capacity that you can love another, right? So let's dive in. Join us at Your Own University, where you continue to discover the ultimate you. Like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. You're not going to want to miss a bit of this. Hello, welcome to part three. So we talked about seizing the moment. We talked about going past things, pushing yourself. And then we talked about self-love and acceptance and knowing your boundaries and asking for what you desire and what you require. Today's episode is going to expand on that, but in relationship and partnership, because that's what I promised. And this is a huge topic. Have you heard the phrase that you only can love as much as you love yourself? That your ability to love another is really paramount to how much you can love yourself. But there's other dynamics to this. So I want to give you 4 tips today on how you can be more present in relationship. Things that I've contemplated for the last year, maybe year and a half, but I've had deep conversations with clients, with my best friend, and then I've had experiences with it. And this trip really brought this to a head for me in a big, big way. All right, so let's get started. How about it? So the first thing is, as you expand in love, remember from the last video, you have that breaking open piece. And there's a love to love yourself, to learn how to honor yourself, to stand in that without doing the people pleasing and all the things that we're taught when we're kids, right? To please people, to do what they want, to fit into somebody else's box. So you're really creating your own boundaries around love. And if you haven't watched that video, I'll tag it up here. The next place though here is to be in awareness. So tip number 1 is to be aware. And that is aware of how you're reacting to yourself in relationship with another. Whether you are on a team hike or you're in relationship, a love relationship, a family relationship, a business relationship, any kind of relationship, is to know who you're being. And if you're compromising yourself, because you don't want to compromise yourself, that builds resentment, that builds distance, that builds distrust. So where are you compromising yourself, and where aren't you compromising yourself? And really stepping into a new awareness of holding those boundaries for yourself. This has nothing to do with the other person. This is all about you. And you being you, right? And really holding your own boundaries, your space to know where you stand and what you require and how you require to be treated and respected in relationship. Tip number 2, acceptance. Acceptance is massive because when we accept ourselves, we can accept another. To the capacity we can love ourselves, we can love another. To the capacity we can accept ourselves, we can accept another. Now, this goes second to awareness, because if another is being abusive or mean or rude, and we're allowing tolerance to happen in that relationship where we're being treated less than we'd treat ourselves, right? You want to be in a relationship where you are being treated as good or better than you would treat yourself, right? In this self-love. That's the capacity in which you can love yourself, is how you're going to treat yourself. But you really set those boundaries for yourself. You set that for yourself. What are you going to tolerate, what you're not? Next piece is acceptance, because at this point, we're all different human beings, right? How much can you accept in yourself? What do you accept about yourself? We all have faults. We all have history. We all have crap, right? We all have story. We all have tendencies, right? I know I do some annoying things. I annoy myself sometimes. I get upset sometimes. There was a place in our hike where we got lost, and I started processing, like, my eyesight wasn't so good because it was getting really dark. It got straight dark. We were in trees walking down this hill, not knowing where we were going. I was scared for my life, right? Even though I knew that I was going the right direction, at least down the hill, and I had an idea of where we were, and Bear was leading me and had a light and everything, I still felt scared, and I was allowing myself to feel that fear, even if it made somebody else uncomfortable, somebody being Bear. But even if it makes somebody else uncomfortable, if you are honoring your own feelings without hurting somebody else, hurting yourself, and or really being inappropriate, right? All of your feelings are good. This is the human experience. So allowing yourself to accept where you're at is really, really important. And then it allows you to accept the other person for being where they're at. Because as we grow in relationship, as we grow in ourselves, and as we grow in our capacity to love ourselves and love others, we go through growing pains, right? So where are you accepting and where are you fighting? Where are you making yourself wrong? Where are you shitting all over yourself? Where are you just really not being accepting for who you are? Tip number 3, your capacity to love yourself is your capacity to love somebody else. So when you're not feeling loved, when you're not feeling understood, when you're not feeling a certain way, my tip for you is to look at that within first. Because there are 3 people in a relationship. There's you, there's them, and you're both in charge of yourselves. And then there's the relationship itself. And this was really large for me because as you grow in knowing what you desire and what you require and what you are aware of about yourself in a relationship, and then what you'll accept and what you won't accept in a relationship, you're going to have less tolerance for accepting anything less, right, than what you absolutely deserve and what you absolutely require. And so being able to look at that in relationship to, are they, the other person that you're in relationship with, able to match you in their own self-love, and or are they even ahead of you in their own self-love? And the other piece is the relationship itself. Is the relationship, is the container that you have both set, that intention of the relationship, right? An employee and a boss, a parent and a child. Is a child being a parent, right? In a loving relationship, where's the relationship going? Where's that container? It moves, it ebbs, it flows as we grow. The container expands and it contracts, and it expands and it contracts. And it's up to both parties to really go in there and set that container and have that awareness. That's why in a business contract, we sign contracts, right? That's why as parents, we have to ebb and flow and continuously set boundaries, set intentions with our children. That's why in love relationships, it's good to talk about where are we going? What's our intention? How are we doing this? It's not about ourselves necessarily. It is about how much space or contraction is in the container, in the relationship. This allows for growth. This allows for expansion. This allows for self-awareness in the relationship, which is huge, 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 huge. So in this 3 parts, right, you have self, your ability to love matches the ability to love of the other person, or there's an awareness around it. 2, that self-acceptance of self and that awareness that you're accepting the other and you want to work with them, be with them, form a life with them. And 3, the relationship itself. What does that look like? What's the intention? The relationship itself is a safety container. Having that awareness allows you both to grow within the relationship. It allows love to expand. It allows commitment to expand. It allows you to do what you need to do at work to meet the expectations of your boss, to get that promotion, to be the parent that you want to be, to go after your dreams and your goals, for your children to test those boundaries, right? And stretch their rope a little bit as they grow while staying in that safe container. So knowing where that container is and what you can grow into, what you can love into, what is expected is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful freedom, and allows for growth, When that container has no edges, has no awareness, then it's null and void. There's no safety in it. So creating a safe space for one another in the relationship, right? That third party in the relationship is super, super important. So the first 2 tips are really about yourself. The third tip is about the relationship itself. And the last tip I have for you is really about choosing for yourself what you want over and over and over again, and having that communication with your partner. So for me, a big deal here, there was a couple times in our hike that we didn't really know which way to go. And so we would have a discussion, right? And we could go this way. And in all honesty, sometimes that way was the shorter route. It was the more logical route. However, I knew that I would get up there and I could be really tired. I also had some injuries that I'm going to talk about in the next segment, the 4th segment here, about how I overcame those injuries. And kind of tips and tools that I used to get through it and keep going and keep persevering, and things that I also use in business as well. But back to the story. We could go either route, right? And I had to be aware of my surroundings. I had to accept my own limitations and what I was good at, my strengths, and then I had to ask for what I required. And then we set the boundaries for the relationship. Okay, our intention is to get there. Let's go this way. And it was really beautiful, that communication of the intention of where we were going, and then getting there in the safest route that really honored both of us, and making sure, because if I got injured, that would be really bad for Bear. Bear got injured, that would be really bad for me, right? So keeping that safe container, but communication is so important. So learning how to communicate with your partner. One thing that I love to use, and I learned in 2010, totally changed my life, and you can look at them in YouTube, is nonviolent communication. It is a way to communicate with your partner that really owns your own self-awareness, your own truth, and also has that really great ask for what you need, what you require from your partner, because you have that awareness and that acceptance of where you're at. And then it allows you to make sure that you're heard, because we all listen through our own filters, our own awareness. And that helps you set that boundary of relationship, that intention. So you're both walking the same direction, you're both leaning into the same things, you're both growing in the same way. And there's room for expansion, there's room for growth, because you want to be in a relationship, no matter where it is, where you are stretching your boundaries, you're continuing to grow. So I want to be in a relationship where I'm seen and I'm heard, and I want to be in a relationship with somebody that allows me to see and hear them and celebrate their greatness as well. And this is why we really build each other up. So I hope that you like this episode. If it resonates with you, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and tell me what you thought about this, where you're at in this process, what you think about it. Please share it with your friends, and please subscribe. We love you here, and check out yourownuniversity.com. I'll talk to you soon.